Hey, brown girl. In a world that is set up to make you question who you are, take this time to reconnect to your greatness and speak to the inner depths of your soul. Your grace is undeniable. Your confidence is envied. You radiate and shine in every space you occupy. It's time to take back your power and remember who you are. Take a deep breath. Release all doubt and repeat after me. Today, I choose to walk in peace that will not be disturbed. I will allow my mind to exist in my unlimited future. I am breaking cycles of trauma on my bloodline. I will take up space without shrinking. My ideas will impact generations to come. I belong in the rooms that I walk into. Today, I will effortlessly walk in purpose. I attract peace and abundance. When my feet touch the floor, the day stands at attention. I am calm, confident, powerful, and filled with love. I trust myself to explore the possibilities of my heart's desires. Today, I rise with the power of my ancestors. It is okay to rest from productivity. I will live my dreams out loud. Creativity flows effortlessly through me. Emotions are welcome in my space and in my body. I am overflowing with abundance. It is time to create again. It is time to dream again. Every breath brings more joy, more peace, and more healing. I belong in every room that I walk into. Radical rest is my birthright. I inhale confidence and exhale doubt. Today, I choose gratitude. It is okay to not be okay. My testimony will be someone else's survival guide. I give myself grace and space on my journey. I show up every day as my full and complete self. Growth is difficult, but I trust that I am strong enough to do it. I will always be enough. I trust myself to set boundaries that will protect my peace. My peace is my superpower. Every step in the right direction is a step in the right direction. I believe I will receive what I need at the exact time that I need it. Someone smiled today because I am still here. I believe in my ability to do things that scare me. I put out the energy I wish to receive. I will stop apologizing for being myself. My mistakes do not define me. I was put on this earth to walk out my unique purpose. I let go of drama and embrace peace. I am attracting people that align with my peace and my joy. I am continuing to heal every day that I continue to breathe. I am confident that things are working out for my good. If it doesn't bring me joy, it isn't welcome in my space. I only strive to be a better version of myself. As I walk, I shine my light on my journey of purpose. I decide to wake up each morning and choose joy. I am manifesting my happiest self. Brown girl, it's time to shine.
Hello and good morning to you. Oh boy. Happy Saturday. And it might be afternoon where you are, but it is morning here in Colombia. So happy Saturday. Good morning. I am I am in a state of my brain being on low battery mode. And so I want to give that disclaimer before we get started because my brain people are um they're getting to the office. Okay, so I always do this. I always just start talking and then I don't actually start, but I'm gonna do it anyway. If this is your first time here, welcome, buckle up. If it's not, hey, welcome back. So I talk about my brain people a lot. My brain people are the people that are inside of my brain that run the operations. And if you think about it like inside out, um, it's like, joy and sadness and ennui and anxiety and whatever. But my people have like names. And I'm getting to know them more because one of the things that we talk about in Discover Your Destiny, and we've been on this uh a series, if you will. We're inside the module, but there's inside the modules, there's a series of weeks where we talk about our brains and we talk about the parts of our brains and how our brains work and what happens when we experience trauma and how our brains work and just kind of get people going in there and talking about their brains, right? And I'm big on practice what you preach. I don't like to tell people or ask people to do anything that I am not willing to do myself. And so naturally, as we're having these conversations about our brains, I am also getting up in my brain and seeing what's going on. And so I did some walking through my brain the other day. And what I have discovered, because at first, like the first time I walked in my brain, it felt like a corporate building. And it was interesting. It was like a corporate building with like different rooms, and rooms were color coded, and there were file cabinets, and like it was an interesting situation. And then my brain kind of went to like what I imagine it would be like to work at Google, where there's like flexible seating and lots of different types of creative, that's definitely not a word, creative type things around. So basketball hoops and air hockey and whatever, like active things to help people be creative. And that is a part of my brain. But what I believe was happening is I was in different areas. Okay, let me try to, I'm going to give y'all a visual because right now I feel like I'm just rambling and I don't want to do that. Also, I'm a teacher. And so I know that there are visual learners. So let me just go to a diagram. Okay, welcome. I don't know if y'all knew that you was coming to class. You never know what you're signing up for, honestly, when you come over here. One day it might be class, one day it is shenanigans and foolishness, and all days it's all of that. So again, welcome. Okay, so there are four areas of our brain, okay, that I am going to use for the purposes of what I'm trying to explain to y'all today. There are four areas of our brain, and we're going to start down here at the bottom with the brainstem. The brainstem is the part of our brain that controls the involuntary things that are happening, our breathing, our blinking, our digestion, all the stuff that we don't have to think about. And it's also where our fight, flight, freeze, fawn response lives. And our brainstem works with the limbic area, which is where the amygdala lives. So if you think about the amygdala is like the security guard of your brain. They make sure that all systems are good, we cool, everybody's good to go, and or shit has hit the fan, lock it down, immediate fight, flight, freeze, fear for our life. We got to get it together situation, right? Okay, so the amygdala lives in the limbic area, and the amygdala works with the brainstem so they know when they need to kick it into automatic mode. All right. Our hippocampus also lives in our limbic area. So if the amygdala sounds the alarm, ring the alarm. I've been doing this too long. I'll be there if I see another on your own. So if the amygdala says ring the alarm, lock everything down, the hippocampus, which is where our short-term memory lives, that goes offline. We don't have time to be remembering shit. We got to fight for our life, right? And so if that does not happen, if the amygdala says everything is fine, no worries, no problem, all systems go, then the next part of our brain is the prefrontal cortex. And this is the part of our brain that controls impulse, insight, and empathy. It's our decision-making center of the brain. So once we have cleared the things, our decision making center comes online. We're able to get some insight, able to have some empathy. Then the fourth part, and I see the little box. If I move this box, will it go over here? I'm looking at y'all on the screen to make sure, the visuals is on point. But anyway, so then at the top is the cortex, which is the very top portion of our brain. And that is the place where our automatic responses move to awareness. So where we get into a place of metacognition, and we're able to think about our thinking, and we are able to do the creating and the learning and the imagining and all that kind of stuff, right? And so, hey y'all. So we have our downstairs brain, and then we have our upstairs brain, okay? And so what happens in our brains is we kind of go through, imagine if you are walking in to the business or whatever, the place for the day, you're turning on the lights, turning on the computers, like everything's getting it together, right? And so our brain does that too, and it does it by asking some questions. So the first question the brain asks is, am I safe? If you are not able to say, I feel safe, then you remain in the survival state. So your brain goes into, again, it's an emergency, turn on the alarms, shut down the memory, the amygdala triggers, and now we go into fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. If you're like, I'm not safe. But if you are safe, then the next question your brain asks is, am I loved and am I connected? And that has to do with our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with others. After those two questions are answered, because remember, our brainstem and our limbic area, that's our downstairs brain, right? So once we can answer these two questions, then and only then can our brain go to a place and saying, what can I learn? Or what can I dream? What can I imagine? Okay. So I said all of this to say, y'all, my brain people, I feel like they enter down here at the brainstem, like this is where they come in for work for the day, right? No, actually, I don't actually think they enter there. I think my brain people enter here at the prefrontal cortex, but there are people here in the brainstem and in the limbic area that are answering these questions. Am I safe? Am I loved and connected? And what I imagine with my brain people, go with me. And I appreciate you all for being here for this insight into my brain. Hopefully, it'll help you with insight into yours. But what I imagine is that my brain people down here, so I'll give you the person's name. Her name is Christiana. And I've been trying to figure out what Christiana's role is because I see her in a bunch of different places in my brain. And I just was having a conversation yesterday, and I said that I think Christiana is the chief of staff, because I feel like Christiana goes down here in the brainstem to make sure everything is okay. So she comes down and she's like, "Is everything good? Like, well, everybody has everything they need." My security guard, I don't know their name yet, that lives in the limbic area. I have to meet them. But, or maybe it's the security guard. I'm processing this in real time. Welcome. Maybe the security guard is the one who goes down here. Anyway, Christiana got to get down here and make sure that everything's good so she can open the doors to let the brain people in so they can come to work, because they work on the cortex level. Okay. So, but everything else has to be all right for them to be able to come into work and get to their desk. So, as I've been talking to you, I feel like they were slowly coming in, saying good morning, getting their coffee, doing all the things, and everybody's gradually getting over to their workstation so that my brain can function for the day. That deserves a round of applause, because that was a lot of explaining that I just did. And not that you asked for it, because you didn't, but also you are so welcome. You're welcome, because that was really that was some stellar teaching that I just did just now. And I know it. I know it was. So yeah, I want to give myself some applause. Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was some good learning that just happened. So anyway, my brain people are slowly getting into position. So it's going to be an interesting ride today, and I'm so glad that you're here to be a part of it. And so, having said that, let's go ahead and get the thing started for today. I Yeah, I have a lot going on in my brain, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out. All right, here we go. Hey y'all, I'm Kimberland, and this is the Frolicking Truth, a soft space for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal. Here, joy meets justice. We calm our Black ass nervous systems. We unmask and we leave behind whatever that is trying to kill us. You're seen here. You're safe here. And you don't have to do this alone. I want y'all to know I definitely have that tism, because I really feel like I need to stem my ass off right now. Um, because I feel like I need to like shake my brain around in my head right now. I don't know why, but it feels really good. So, hey, y'all, what's up? Welcome to the Frolicking Truth podcast for Black women who are tired, brilliant, and ready to heal, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. It is okay if you don't identify with any of those descriptors. It just means that when you come ready to listen, ready to learn, and ready to support. My name is Kimberland, and welcome to my world. Also, I feel like I look so cute today. I've been playing with the lighting, right? So over here to the right of me, there's a wall of windows, like floor to ceiling. And if I open the blinds too much, it washes me out and it doesn't allow my melanin to pop the way that it needs to. Also, I am very much fading away. And so I've got to get outside and get into the sun, because I am fading. My chocolate goddess is not chocolate goddessing. And we gotta fix that. But anyway, I've been playing with the light, with the blinds, to find the sweet spot during this particular time of day, because also the sun moves, to have the best lighting. And so I feel really cute. So, speaking of that, I always start this off with the Auntie update. So, might as well go ahead and talk about Raina. Raina, when is the last time I saw y'all? Last week? I don't know what was happening last week. But one of these days, hold on. There's this little situation here. One of these days, within the last week or so, I was watching Iron Man. So I've been on this Marvel, studying Marvel thing. And I've been telling you all about the universe that we're creating, and like it's a whole lot of things that are happening. And so I'm watching Iron Man. I have washed my hair. Usually I would do just a wash and go, literal wash and go. Like I literally wash it, I'll put the products in it, and we're done here. Okay. So a lot of times those are the types of curls that you see with Raina because I just let it dry however it dries. But lately, I had been, and not lately, always, I had been fighting like with the front part of my hair because it wasn't really defining like I wanted it to. That's also why I cut Raina, and it was a whole thing. So anyway, I decided to do some finger coil ish type situations, very much loose, very much just kind of as much as I'm sitting here twirling it while I'm watching this movie, whatever I get, I get. But I paid a lot of special attention like up here. So those are the kind of curls that you see. And also I know that the camera is not really picking it up like it needs to, but you can kind of see with like this piece here that it's not, the whole thing is not coiled, it's really just on the end, and I'm okay with that because it allows her to grow and kind of just do and be. So I don't know how many days it's been, honestly, but what I can say is that my hair feels very moisturized. I also made some more rosemary, mint, and clove water for my hair. So I've been using that, and that feels really good and it smells really good. And I did not use flaxseed gel this time because I did not have enough patience with myself to make it, because I don't have the right strainer. I need like the mesh strainer. I only really have a colander. And so some flax seeds got through and it was a lot. And so I didn't do it. I had some leftover Aunt Jackie's curl cream. So I just used that. So anyway, that's what's up with Raina. And I'm kind of feeling, y'all know I just cut my hair like indiscriminately. I'm not a hairstylist, okay? And I don't really know how to cut hair. So, but I did. So anyway, Raina is growing back. And so I'm kind of liking this phase, but also I'm not about to keep cutting it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm cool with this. It's she's giving. And so when I wake up, I literally just like wake up. Like I literally just be like, all right, I do a little spray. And then we're done with that. So that is the Raina update. The other update I wanted to give was in regards to what I was sharing at the top, is how, where my brain people are right now. There is a lot that's going on in my brain, and also I am running out of medicine. Y'all, hold on. So, remember, if y'all go back, it was probably like the episodes at the beginning of the year up until maybe March-ish. What month is this? This is May. So yeah, it was probably around March. And I had said, I was like, I was able to get my medicine and my brain feels like it's working again. And it's been like getting oxygen. And so now I don't have my medicine. Um, and so my brain is like fighting for its life right now. And but we're getting there. We're getting there. So we're a little bit slower and we're getting in place, but we need more grace and more patience. Thank you. So yeah, I'm managing that and trying to figure out what that looks like. And Therefore, using all of my best brain cells, I have to be very, very intentional about what brain cells I use at what time because I only have so many. Like, if any of you follow the spoon theory, they talk about how people with chronic illness, that you only have so many spoons for a day, and some tasks take more spoons than others. So a low spoon task might be um, drinking water, let's just say. But that might be one spoon. And then it might be 3 spoons to take a shower. It might be 5 spoons to have a meeting with someone, right? And so I don't know how many spoons I have these days, but I do know that I'm very much rationing my spoons because there's a lot to do and there's a lot that my calendar these days is very full intentionally, but I also didn't anticipate that I wouldn't have my medicine. So also, um, but there's a lot of really good things that are happening right now that I want to be able to be as present as I possibly can for those things. So yeah. Also, I didn't really sleep. I haven't really been sleeping. So I have been having dreams, but I don't remember the dreams, but I'm waking up frustrated after the dreams. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I'm gonna have to, Shekinah has, who is one of the folks over here in the universe, she has a dream book. So we were trying to figure out like how to look it up the other day and figure out what the dreams might be saying. So we might do some dream processing and some dream conversations in the Patreon. But yeah, it's been really interesting. It's been a very, very interesting time within my brain. So I think those were, hold on, were there more updates that I wanted to give y'all about that? No. So let me just pause here and first of all give a shout out to the inner circle specifically, but to the keepers in the Patreon. Shout out to all of you who are over in the Patreon. Um, we're building a lot in there. I talked to someone yesterday who is going to be getting the library going and our book studies and really starting to get those conversations popping. I shared last week that I just started reading, well, I finished it now, but I read Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. It is, man, I can't wait. I cannot wait for these book studies because there are so many folks that are around the world that are carving out these spaces of support to the meetings that I've been having. I've been hearing from people what they've been building in their universes and what their infrastructure looks like and like how can we align the support that we have. And I'm so excited about how much we're going to be able to support people because when everybody is working in their purpose and in their passion, it feels, it doesn't really feel like work because you're doing what you love to do and what you're called to do. And the things that you don't love to do, somebody else loves to do that and they're called to do that. So they do that because that's what they love to do. And it really helps with not being burnt out. It helps with having a wider net that we're able to cast to help people. Like, it's just so amazing. And yeah, all of that is first coming through the Patreon, and that's the place where I really talk about what's happening. I am planning a family meeting. I wanted to do it for this upcoming Wednesday, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to do that. I think I'm going to have to do it the first week in May. But anyway, if you are in the archive, I need you to like cue in, so when we have the family meeting that you'll get the information, you'll be able to be present and able to share about your slice of support and what it is that you do and what you specialize in, so that we're really able to align this massive resource map that we are creating. So I'm really excited about that. And so I want to shout y'all out, because the folks who are in the Patreon, you all help to make this possible. You all help to keep the operations going. And so as I'm talking about the things that I'm talking about, if you're saying to yourself, I would really like to support that, being in the Patreon is a place for you to not just support that, but to also find community of people who are also doing this work. And that is very powerful, especially when you're in, I ain't say this, I'm an activist, y'all. Power to people, you feel me? But anyway, in activism work and in organizing work and in movement work, it is very easy to get burnt out and feel like what you are doing is small and it doesn't matter and it's just whatever. When in actuality, every single small thing is needed within the system of support that we do. And all of us have a gift, and all of us have an expertise, and all of us have something in particular that we were purposed to do in order to support the collective. And so it's been so enjoyable to find those people and to authentically be sitting in spaces with people like, now what do you do? And then they get to paint their universe and how they came to it and everything. And as they're talking about their universe, I'm looking at my universe and we're overlapping our universes. It's the best thing ever. So if you want to be a part of those conversations, you want to support those conversations, please go to patreon.com/mindingmyblack-ass-business. That is how you can join the archive. There is a free 7-day trial if you join through the inner circle, and then it is $5 a month after that. And that $5 goes to support everything that we are building here. Eventually, we would love to be able to pay people for their services and keep our dollars, if you will, within ourselves. But all of the things that you all have seen pop up over this time, the rebranding of Kimberland Jackson, the building out of the archive, the building out of Minding My Black Ass Business, all of that is because of the contributions of the archive. So thank you to the keepers that are in the archive. Appreciate y'all deeply. Also, shout out to the chat. Yo, thank you for being here. If you're watching us live, please do come on into the chat. Y'all, make sure that I'm not talking to myself. You know, even though I be talking to myself, and that's all right. And also, I know I'm talking to people in the future, so it's just like I'm talking to you. You just not here with me right now. You in another dimension. You feel me? But shout out to the chat that is here with me live and giving their feedback and asking questions and being a part of this conversation. I appreciate y'all deep down, okay? So even if you don't have anything to say, if you can tap the screen, the hearts show up on the screen, and it makes my heart happy. Also, my emoji is the sunflowers. So if there's any time that you're saying to yourself, yes, girl, yes, you talking, you can drop some sunflowers in the chat and or in the comments if you're watching this in the replay. That reads as love shining out from your heart to mine. Okay, so appreciate you. I appreciate you. And things. All right. So, tomorrow we have our next episode of So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. That is the podcast with myself and my cousin Kalonda. So it will be here on the Mind of My Black Ass Business network here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern. It comes on every other Sunday, and our topic, our title for tomorrow is "The Witches Are Taking Over." The witches are taking over. And there's so much to get into about that and what is going on. So if you want a good time, some laughs, some shenanigans, some truths, some things to think deeper about, please do come and hang out with us as so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese. Our community over there are called the Toasties. So shout out to all the Toasties and Uncle Toasty and all of you who hang out with us over there. We also last week premiered the next episode of From Auntie with Love. This is another space for the aunties. There are 4 of us that are in this space, and we're all in different phases of life. Last week's episode was about dating icks, and it was hilarious. Okay, so let me give you all an opportunity to hear a little bit more from the Auntie.
It's an unfortunate situation that we have to speak on this. But any person who sends anything unsolicited sexually, I believe that is for a short walk into sexual assault.
Very short walk.
I believe the line is very thin and it's easy to cross right on over. I have unfortunately received unwanted, unsolicited, not asked for penis pictures. And not even just sending them to me. There are some men who just post them on their stories. So you're just tapping through.
You trapped in a close friend.
Like on their stories?
Yes, not a close friend, nothing. You just tapping.
Oh my.
You just tapping through and here's his penis.
Honestly, I don't even like the way penis look. You know, love the way it feels. But don't like the way it looks. And it's like,
we don't agree with B.
Now listen, I don't agree with B. Okay.
Now we don't agree with B. Now it's not even the name of the segment. I just don't like the way it look. It looks nasty.
Really?
Oh, I disagree,
honey. To each their own.
I'm
so when you're saying you don't like the way it looks, you're saying in pictures maybe the angle is just bad. You haven't seen a really attractive one.
It doesn't get me going. Like seeing it doesn't be like, oh yeah,
okay,
yeah. I'm not just like, oh look at you, so like I'm not Google Gaga over it. It's just like thank you for being here. I love other aspects of you. I'm more of a words girl. Like tell me what you about to do. You know what I'm saying?
Telenovela. Smut.
We gonna get to that in a second.
That'll more so get me going. Like, I'm more of like, I want to read it out. I want to create my own visual.
So, you never know what we gonna be talking about down there to From Auntie with Love. The conversations be going so many different ways, but also these are the things that we need to be talking about because we don't be talking about this stuff. So anyway, if you go to the page, you are able to see the From Auntie with Love playlist and to see the other episodes and which aunties we are and all of that. So you can check that out over on Mind of Black Ass Business here on the homepage, and then go to the different playlists, and then you'll be able to hear more from the aunties. It's a good time down there. So From Auntie with Love, I be cracking up. Okay. So one of the aunties that you saw there, and I mentioned her just a moment ago, is Shekinah. And Shekinah and I be down to the TikToks as well over on Thursday for co-working. And when we're in that space, we do a few things. The first thing that we have is a mindset moment. So we talk about ways to get our brains and our brain people into the space. So we were having a brain people conversation this past week, and she was sharing the names of her brain people, and I was saying I needed to go and meet mine. So we have those kind of conversations. Then we do our work. So we bring some type of project that we work on in that space, and then we have some co-working and vibing time. Then we sometimes will do universe building. So we'll talk about different pieces of our universe that we're building, whether it's the playlist or what we're wearing or, what our superpower is. And then finally, we have Brands, Business, and Boundaries, which is a podcast where we talk about those things and what that looks like to show up consistently in our personal brands, in our business, and how do we implement boundaries to support ourselves through those times. So it's a good time. If you've heard of body doubling, this is a way to do that. Just come listen to us talk about the things, be a part of the conversation, and then also work on your things as well. Speaking of Shekinah, she has the Let's Talk Sis universe, and so she has a series called Girls Night In, First Fridays. So we had our First Fridays last month, and it was the Color and Kiki event. It was a really good time. And this month, next month, wait, what month is this? This is April, finna be May. So in April, First Friday, we had Color and Kiki. Coming up next Friday, May 1st, we have a pajama game night. So we were planning it out the other day, and we're gonna do like some truth or dare, or like this or that, and we have some girls' night games to be playing. So every time we come, we get to have an alter ego and step into this alternate universe and just kiki and have a good time with the girls. So if you are somebody who is like, I would love to have community, but I'm really not trying to go outside for real, please do come and hang out with us at Girls Night In. It is free. It is for Black women, and it is free. So all you have to do is register. So if you go to tinyurl.com/LTS Girls Night In, then you are able to join us and, come and have a good time with the girls. All right. So Shekinah also has exclusive Girls Night In Live Whimsy events. These events focus on holistic herbal infusions, medicinal and sustainable things. And when we have all of that, we say, yes. Okay, so she has Whimsy events the last Friday of the month. These are exclusive events. You have to be a part of the Let's Talk Sis universe, or you have to be in the archive. So if you are looking for spaces to have conversations and learnings around holistic and herbal medicine, please do find yourself down to the archive and over into the Let's Talk Sis universe where the Whimsy events live. Second to last thing, Found Her Future Collective is our internship program that we have developed. And when I say ours, that is in combination with myself and Shekinah. And in the Found Her Future Collective, our internship program is designed for women who are 18 and up, who are at a place of pivot. They are transitioning either in multiple ways that might show up. So let me just say it this way, in a season of transition, and they are really trying to understand their purpose and what that looks like in this new world that they are building for themselves. So you have an opportunity when you are a part of Found Her Future to experience Discover Your Destiny, which I'll talk about in a second. And then you have an opportunity to go through the metamorphosis. And the metamorphosis is where you take all of these things that you have now learned about yourself, your spiritual gifts, and what your gifts for impacting people are, and how you communicate. And you take all of these pieces and now birth into the world your purpose project, if you will. So we are in the middle of our first cohort of Found Her Future currently, and it has just been so dope every single week. It's like they come to class and they're like, I don't know how you did this and how you planned this out for this to work with my life the way that it is, but this was right on time. And it's just the way that God does things. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, again, it's for women 18 and up. It is not exclusive to Black women, but it is Black woman centered, and that is important for people to understand. But 18 and up, and all you need to do is go to tinyurl.com/found her future, found FOUND, her HER future, and then you can read more about it and or pass it on to someone that you may know who would like to be a part of a community like this one, where you are able to get support with what the next part of your life looks like. So the last announcement that I have is about Discover Your Destiny. Discover Your Destiny, I am doing the summer cohort is officially about to open for enrollment. I'm so excited. Basically, what had happened is that I certify life coaches. So I'm an intuitive melanated life coach, and I certified the last large cohort of life coaches, and the inaugural cohort of life coaches that I certified was in 2023. And so I have been going around and, catching up and making sure everybody's good and what's going on and what they've been working on in their slice of the universe. And one of my life coaches said, I need to get back in community. Like, I need to get back in the language and, like, really remembering who I am. So they said, would you, you gonna do another? You gonna do it again? Because I need to do it again. And so I said, you know what? Actually, I am, because there have been a lot of people that have been crossing into my paths and universes that have been intersecting, where people are at a space of saying, I really need to understand what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's very clear that I have a calling, and it is very clear that I need to really embrace that. And so that means that that's what I do. So let me make myself available so that we are able to do that. So the next cohort of Discover Your Destiny will be starting on May 31st. May 31st. And so I will be Patreon, the archive. Y'all are going to get first dibs. So first spots availability, as well as a discount to those who are in the archive to be able to sign up for the new cohort. So that's going to come out this week. And then next week, I'll tell y'all about everything, because then it'll be public. Okay. So if you're in the archive, you get, first dibs and a discount into Discover Your Destiny. So what is Discover Your Destiny? Discover Your Destiny is my, what did they call it in superhero? The canon coaching program. And what it does is it helps you to really understand your spiritual gifts, to build a deep personal relationship with God beyond the confines of religion. So really taking these different pieces of yourself and laying them on each other so that you can understand who you were actually created to be, not who the world told you that you needed to be, not who you chose to be because that kept you safe, not who you had to be because that kept you safe. It's who you were actually designed to be, and then how do you then give that to the world? And I'm really excited to have this cohort coming up. So I'm gonna play this commercial just to kind of get me out of my word salad for a second. I need to drink some water, and then I'll tell you how to apply, and then we'll get into the things for today. Okay? All right. Okay. Cool. Here we go. What if the thing you've always called too much was the exact thing God designed on purpose? This is for the ones who've always known they were different. Too sensitive, too loud, too knowing, too intuitive, too woo-woo. But what if your sensitivity is actually your superpower? What if your intuition was your inheritance? Discover Your Destiny is a 10-week sacred journey back to yourself. We explore the design of your soul, your spiritual gifts, and the unique way that God speaks to you. This isn't church. It's not a rule book. It's not a performance. It's the moment you stop chasing approval and start walking in divine alignment. You'll gain clarity, language, and confidence around who you are and what you are here on the earth to do. You'll learn the real voice of God. And if you feel called to go on to become a certified intuitive melanated life coach, this is where that path begins. There are 2 ways to enter this sacred container: the Destiny track, full investments and coaching experience, or the Divine Exchange track, where internship meets soul work. You'll support podcasting, content creation, or brand development behind the scenes while learning how your unique gifts benefit the collective. Your knowing isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprint of God. This is your invitation, and I hope that you'll answer. So if you are interested in being a part of Discover Your Destiny, please go to dyd25.com. Read up. There are testimonial videos. There's a playlist here on Minding My Black Ass Business where I talk about Discover Your Destiny and how it got started and all of that, right? So do your research. Also, if you are ready and you have been asking yourself and saying to yourself and hearing your spirit say, there is more that I need to be doing, I really do need you to come on and lock in, okay? Because there is a lot that we are called to do out here in this world. And so we want to be intentional in being in position to be able to do that. If you are saying to yourself, I want to be able to do this at my own pace, so I don't necessarily want to do this with a group or anything like that, you are also able to just get a copy of the workbook and to work through it on your own. So if you go to tinyurl, and let me actually put it here on the screen, hold on, where I'm at. If you go to tinyurl.com/DYD workbook 2026, then you will be able to just get the workbook. And so I'll send you the digital copies so that you can just work through it at your own pace. What I'm trying to say though, at the end of the day, is I need us to get information. Okay, there's a lot that is going on right now, and a lot of us, especially if you are in this community of people, we are called to be in position, and that might even be position for ourselves, right? And so being in position for yourself also means that I need to spend some time getting to know myself and getting to understand myself and really understanding how I want to show up in this new world that we are walking towards every single day. So if you've been asking yourself those types of questions, let's have a conversation, because I'm about to do this, and after this, I'm going to have to shut some things down. So I'm going to get back to that in a second. But first, I want to go through Frolicking in the Feed. So Frolicking in the Feed is the part, one of these days, just imagine like there is a transition situation that's happening here or something. Let me see if I have what's this do? Of all the things that I I'm going to find me a good sound effect that's going to transition over into the next segment. But anyway, Frolicking in the Feed is the part of this time where I talk about what has been happening out in the internets and things. One thing I want to say is that I really haven't been out here really frolicking in no feeds. I really have been inside my mind, but there are a couple outlets that I have that I'll tap into to kind of see what's going on and what's happening. And one of those outlets is Kevon Stage, right? So I've talked about Kevon Stage all the time. I'm in his universe. I'm a part of the stage crew. Like, I be over there down to Kevon. Matter of fact, they just went on live because they're doing a bonus episode today. So anyway, Kev been getting dragged all over through the internet by people who call themselves Christians. And you may be asking yourself, what did Kev do? Why would the Christian folk be dragging Kevin Fredericks all across this here internet? And what Kevin did is he said, I am not going to hate gay people. I am going to lead with love. And the Christian people got so upset with him. Now, this is the thing. He does not care. Like, it was so I'm in the Patreon, right? So he did a bonus episode, or it probably wasn't even a bonus. It's probably the actual episode that's out now, but we were in there live when it was happening. But he was basically like, I'm not about to hate gay people. I'm not about to do it. I'm not. And also, what he said, I don't be tithing. And also, I don't do, and also I cuss. And he said, damn, y'all. I said, but I was so here for it because I've had this experience before. I've had this experience before where people have wanted me to operate from a hateful place. And when I would not operate from a hateful place, they got upset. And it was a part of like my unmasking and like asking myself deeper questions and my understanding how deeply I had been indoctrinated and programmed into religion. And it was one of the things, LGBTQ rights and community and all that, it was one of the things that really broke for me. Like, now, that's not what Jesus did now. That's not what Jesus did. Okay. Jesus said, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. That is the greatest commandment. Like, there's something ain't matching here. And so it really made me start asking a lot of questions. And I've talked about this from time to time, but I felt like it would be beneficial to talk about it again because something else that I think is also important is for us to honor growth and honor I got more information and I am now choosing a different way to exist because I don't agree with that. And so for me, I was taught that people choose to be gay, and I was taught that that it's a lifestyle and they just choosing to live in sin and they're horrible people, they're dangerous people. I was taught that being gay was contagious. I was taught that it was the worst thing that could ever happen. Like, it used to be one of my worst nightmares. Like, I used to be like, if I have kids and my child is gay, I'm not gonna be able to love my child. Like, it was the worst. And I was like, then what am I supposed to do? Like, what do you do in that situation, right? And I remember like asking myself these things, but then also it was always so strange to me that y'all are standing in the pulpit. It was a few things, y'all. If y'all just let me run them down for a second, okay? So one of the things was that y'all saying that gay people are bad, contagious, all these bad things. But also they're here at the church, and they're not just here at the church. They're in leadership positions at the church. They're in the music ministry. They're doing, like, they're here. So you're okay with using them for their gifts, but then you stand in a pulpit and you're speaking against their existence. I don't understand. The other thing was, especially once I got behind that veil and started seeing what they was doing down there, these folks calling themselves Christians and pastors and being so judgmental and all that kind of stuff. And I saw the double lives. I saw the double lives that we was living. So you sitting here and you fornicating, you adultering, you lying, you cheating, you stealing. I ain't never heard you stand up there and preach a message about that. So if we gonna say it's a sin, and then you claim that all sin is a sin, then how you gonna get up here and not acknowledge the other sins that's happening? But why this the one? Why this the one you keep coming back to? Why are you so obsessed with who somebody is loving? Why is that your concern? I don't understand. I don't understand. And so the comment says, it's not Christian-like to hate anyone. Shaking my head, hypocrite. Those people that taught that are horrible. Yes. Yes. But this is what I'm trying to tell you, is I also, now I know I got that tism, right? So I am very much like literal. Like, you say to me, this is the way to get into the kingdom of heaven. I want to be a good Christian, so let me do the things, right? But then also, I'm not blind and I'm not stupid. And because I got that tism, I got that pattern recognition. And what I'm noticing is that you're saying one thing and you're living another. And that you're condemning people and these people. So then what happened was I made decisions to actually get to know people in the LGBTQ plus community. So then I was like, why are they hated so? Why? Let me go and see for myself. And then I get down there to the LGBTQ plus community and I say, well, y'all seem to know more God than them folk down there at the church house. You seem to have a deeper relationship with God and who you are and how you show up than them. Now, that's not a blanket statement, right? Okay, like there are people in all aspects of life that be showing up on that fuck shit. But my point is, I went and I sought out information because I'm seeing the mismatch. But it wasn't until I really started paying attention to the mismatch that I was like, now this ain't right. So then the more I got to understand, and mind you, I have a lot of learn. Like I'm not deep off. I'm very much, I don't consider myself an ally. I consider myself a comrade because I be ready to go down. Like we're not doing this. These are people. So let me tell you what happened. So this was all down to the black church, right? So I had left the black church and then I went down to the white church because I was just over the black church. It was a lot that was going down there to the child. It was a lot. So I left the black church. So I said, well, let me go down to the white people church and see what their relationship with Jesus is like, right? I'm still seeing the same thing, but it was more covert. But I remember asking myself, Kim, why is it your job to preach somebody down or knock somebody over their head with the Bible or like condemn people to hell? Because that's what I was doing. I was condemning people to hell with gasoline draws on. Do you understand me? First class ticket out of here. And that is a very, very like heavy burden to carry that was never ours to even fucking carry. That is not what the Bible said to do. It's not. Okay. So I remember asking myself, why is this who told you this is your job? And so then I went to the Bible and it said, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And I said, Jesus loved. That was what we were told to do, is to love and to honor humanity and to show up for those who are marginalized. All of this that y'all talking is the absolute opposite of that. I'm not doing this anymore. And I made a different choice. And I said, I'm going to make sure that I am educating myself, that I am putting myself around people who can hold me accountable, that I am removing this blind spot from my life, because I've been in a space where I've been in a vacuum and they have been steering me wrong. They're horrible people. I'm not doing this anymore. It never felt good in my body. It never felt like that was what I was called to do. So I stopped. And what has been so interesting to watch is the lengths that people are wanting to go through in the comments to justify hating people. It is so, I don't want to call it fascinating, but it is like, because fascinating for me is like a word that has a positive connotation, like I'm fascinated with something like ooh. But it's very much not ooh, it's very much like the fuck is wrong. Like you are deep in there, but I also was. So I'm like, how did I get out? Because you are in it and you don't even know that you in it. Like you have been so brainwashed and programmed, and oh my God, how did I get out? Then I get in this space of being like, I'm so grateful to have been able to get out of a system that was asking me to hate people and condemn people to hell every day. I remember when I left that church, I remember, I don't know if y'all remember, y'all got to go back and get the archives, but there was a church that I was at down there in Tampa, Florida. And the pastor had all kind of triangulation and things going on and all of that. This was around the time where I was about to do my launch, if you will, into acting, modeling, and hosting. And so I had told her I got called into entertainment and I'm going to be leaving. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm not about to be here. So I'm just letting you know that that's what's up. And she said to me, God don't want you in the wilderness. And I was so confused because I was like, I know God. What are you talking about? Mind you, at this time, I teach the Sunday school teachers. I am the young adult Sunday school teacher. I am on the praise team. I am in the choir. I am the head of the social media ministry, and I'm supposedly your spiritual daughter. But when I say God has called me to go here, now all of a sudden I don't know God and God don't want me in the wilderness? Girl, get the fuck out of here. So anyway, the same thing that was happening during this time, this is about to feel like a hell of a segue, but the same thing that was happening during this time is I was in therapy. Now, that's the best thing that happened out of my time there at that church is I got to therapy. And she is the one who recommended it. Because when I showed up at that church, I was in an abusive relationship trying to get out. And she said, y'all should go to individual counseling before we do premarital counseling. Because I was engaged. That was nothing. I was engaged. I knew I wasn't getting married, but I was engaged. And I'm trying to get out this relationship. And so I was using church things, if you will, to help myself to get out. For example, in church, you're supposed to go to premarital counseling and, the pastor got to approve it and all that kind of stuff. So I was using that to be able to make deposits to let them know I need help getting out of here. I'm not finna marry this man. He's crazy. So we had done that a few different times. And so anyway, when we got to this church, she was like, y'all need to go to individual counseling. But that's the best thing that I could have did. Because when I got into the counseling, that's when I learned about boundaries. The first thing that I learned about when I got to counseling, the therapist said, hey, and it was a white lady. Okay. So at the time, my only requirements for therapy was that it was a Christian, that I had someone who was a Christian because I was in church and I didn't want to have to explain all this stuff. Okay. So the first lady I go to is a white lady. So I'm talking to her. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And she said, it's like you have a sign over your head that says, if something is wrong, Kimberland will fix it. And I was like, we got to turn that off. How we turn that off? We got to turn that off. So she said, have you ever heard of boundaries? And I was like a property line? She's like, well, yes. And then the first thing she introduced me to it was called the Bill of Legitimate Rights. I actually might have it saved. Every so often, I look for it because it was like my first aha about what boundaries are. Hold on. I don't know if it's in this universe. It might be in another universe. I'm not going to waste time. But basically, I remember it was like you have a right. The one that got me was like you have a right to say no without explanation. So what she had me do was to go through the Bill of Legitimate Rights and to go through how people have violated my legitimate rights. Then she asked me to go through and look at how I have violated other people's legitimate rights. So I go through it first, and one that has stuck out to me was you have the right to say no without explaining. And then I also was infringing on that for other people. And so she recommended that I read a book called Boundaries: When to Say Yes, How to Say No by Doctors Townsend and Cloud. And it's the first introduction I ever had to boundaries. It's actually a book that I carried with me because I don't have a lot of books because all my things fit in 3 suitcases in a backpack. But it's one of the books that I carry with me because we need to always be in a space of reassessing our boundaries. And I had liked it because it was written in a Christian context and they centered it around Jesus. And it was like, there were times where Jesus was like, I'm finna go sleep. I'm about to be gone for a few days so I can recharge. I'm not finna tell you the answer to that. You tell me. Like, there were times where Jesus did that. And so I liked it because, again, I'm using church things to get myself out of these abusive relationships, this abusive church and this abusive engagement, right? So I read Boundaries, and I remember going home and telling my mother about boundaries, who is someone who did not operate her life with boundaries. And therefore, one of the things that you learn about boundaries is when other people don't have boundaries, they don't really respect yours. And so boundaries is really about what you gonna do, not what they're gonna do. They're not rules. It's not outward. Boundaries are, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. So I was in the process of my mother historically is just, she has a loose relationship with the truth, and she was very abusive and manipulative and things. I don't know who she is today because I haven't spoken to her in years. I pray that she's better, but that's where I left her. So anyway, I was also, while I'm trying to get out this abusive relationship, I'm also trying to get out this abusive relationship with my mother. And so I'm explaining like about boundaries and stuff and like telling her what I'm finna do. Cause I'm not going for this. Now I know I got legitimate rights. Let me tell you what you ain't finna do. What you ain't finna do is be talking to me crazy. Cause if you talk to me that way, I won't be participating. If you talk to me that way, you lose access. If you treat me this way, you won't be able to treat me that way again because you'll be dead to me. Right? So I'm saying these are the things that I'm about to do. And so boundaries was the way that the way that I was able to really like free myself from this chokehold that I had of other people determining how I was going to show up in my life and what I was going to do. And for example, around this time, so my mother likes to be around children, and so she has always been around children. Like I used to have sleepovers, and I don't mean that in like a sexually abusive way. Let me be clear in that, okay? But kids bring her joy, so she always would have children around, right? But also some of the shit she say and do is not nice and it's not kind, and it breaks the spirits of children the same way that she tried to do to me or did to me, and I had to rebuild my spirit. So she would say things like, if there's a dark-skinned boy, it happened to boys, so I don't know if she did this to girls too, but it happened to boys, that she'd be like, you need to go put on some lotion with your ashy ass. Instead of just being like, hey, we need to get that melanin popping, baby. Let's go butter it down. Let's make sure when we show out here, baby, that they know that you are a chocolate, okay? It was never framed that way. It was very much negative and putting down, right? And so I remember over time, because there was a time where I did think that I was going to have children. I thought that my life's, the breaking of cycles, if you will, was going to be through me having my own family, my own children, and raising healthy children who did not have these core trauma wounds. Over time, I have grown to understand that was not my call in life. Amen. And I love sleep. Hallelujah. But anyway, at the time, I was asking myself, like, if I had kids, would I want my kids to be around her when she was saying things like that? And so I remember one time my cousin's kids were over there and she had said something like ashy ass type thing. And I said, why are those the words that you choose to say? Of all the words that you could say, why do you choose to say those words? And she really doubled down, kind of just like there was no reflective moment. There wasn't I'm gonna do better. It was just kind of like, this is who she is. And so over that time, I really started being like, if you show up in that way, you're not gonna be able to have access to me. No, it is not your right, as I'm talking about legitimate rights, it is not your right to have access to my life just because you brought me into this world. Number one, didn't ask to be here. That's first off. Second off, you had a responsibility to me as someone that you chose to bring into the world to protect and honor me, and you did not. Therefore, you have lost access. And a lot of us need to do that to a lot of people. One of the things my ex had asked me, this another ex. Let me say this to this point, because somebody gonna put something shady in. Erica, I know it's gonna be you, and don't you do it. Get your finger off the keyboard. Cut it out. I have been engaged a few times. And also, I have not gotten married because I will not get trapped in another abusive situation. I will not do that. And so I will not get married or be partnered with someone who does not exhibit certain qualities and characteristics that let me know that they are a safe person and are willing to do the continuous work on self to show up as someone who is consistently a safe person. I'm not going to get into it here today, but we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Over on So You Don't Put Syrup in Grilled Cheese, all the things that's happening with men right now in this world, in the way that men show up, the danger that men are, the way that we as women have to protect ourselves and have to protect each other. I'm not going to get into it right now. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. But as I was learning to exercise boundaries, there were certain things that I noticed, certain patterns that were showing up that I was allowing to happen that I had the legitimate right to say abso-goddamn-lutely not. So, for example, with my mother, I said she has a loose relationship with the truth, very manipulative. And so I finally got to the point, I called her on her shit, and I was like, either you going to show up as an accountable person or you're not going to have a relationship with me. Guess what? She didn't show up as an accountable person. So guess what? You don't have a relationship with me. You have lost access. I cancel subscriptions all the time. I did an interview yesterday, so there's going to be a new episode of Gathered coming out with one of my former students. Her name is Brittany. And she works in what they call travel work, but she works on a cruise ship. And so she talks about her life on the cruise ship and what that looks like and being in community with people on the cruise ship and all of that. But one of the things that she had talked about was another book by Doctors Cloud and Townsend called Safe People or something. She said it's a real long title, but it's called Safe People. And it breaks down how and ways that we can know whether people are safe or not. So certain characteristics to look for, certain behaviors, certain patterns that can let you know that there's an underlying situation that this is not a safe person. And for a lot of us, our safe person picker got broke because we grew up in homes where there weren't safe people. And then we had to, in our minds, people that had titles, that this title means safety, but that person is not safe. And so we've had to rectify that and figure out what does safety actually mean? And how do I define that for myself? Because also what's safe for me may not be the same as what's safe for you. To each his own. I'm not here to tell you what's safe for you. I can only speak to what's safe for me. Again, my boundaries are that if someone shows up in a particular manner, you don't get to have access to me. So this past week in Discover Your Destiny, we made a list of different qualities and characteristics that we need to see from people in order to know that they are someone who is safe for us to engage with, or to what level are they safe for us to engage with. So I'm gonna show y'all the way that I explain it in my universe, and you can adapt this for any particular model that might make sense to you, all right? But this is the one that I use. So I'm from New Orleans, okay? I'm from the South, all right? So put yourself down in the South, whatever that looks like to you, and we're gonna think about it as if we're in a neighborhood. So there are some people that the only places that we see them is we see them from across the street, right? We don't necessarily know their name. We know that they live in this neighborhood. They have a dog. They might drive such and such a car. But you kind of just like, all right, that's kind of, you want that bump, bump. You know, you hit them with that horn, but y'all ain't really talk like that. Then there are folks that are on the same side of the street, right? So maybe you walking the dog, you stop and you talk to them in there, or you might even cross the street, you know, to go talk to them, or they cross the street to come talk to you. And you know, y'all standing in the on the sidewalk or in the driveway, and you know, how you been? Well, what's your name? Okay, right? Y'all finally meet. Then there are people that you now invite into the yard. Right? We having a get together over at the house. Bring the kids over. We're going to have a bouncy house in the back, you know? So you invite them over to the yard. So we hanging out, we sitting out, we cool in the yard, right? Then you might invite them a little closer to come on to the porch. Come have some lemonade, child. Girl, I'm from that South, okay? Come have some lemonade. Come sit on the porch. Come sit in the rocking chair. Talk to us a little deeper. You know, let's have some further conversations. Then who gets invited into the living room, right? Now they done crossed the threshold into my home. Now, first of all, you need to know coming into my home, you got to take them shoes off at the door. Take them off. Got to. Okay, so who do I even trust to cross over into the threshold of my home to have access to the guest bathroom? Okay, then who is invited into the bedroom? And so as we were talking about this week, the comment says this was an eye-opening week. It was. You know, because as we're talking about this, it invites us to ask ourselves that question. Who are the people that I have in my living room that need to be across the street? Who are the people that I have on my porch that maybe just need to be in the yard? Who are the people that have been in my bedroom that need to get into the living room? It's all right, you can stay over there, but no, you can't come in here. You know, who are the people that are across the street that I may want to invite onto the porch? I want to know some more about you. Right? So it really, like, as I am building out this universe, and as I am also having these village audits, if you will, with myself, they are clowning outside. I'm going to take all of these horns as signs of confirmation. Amen. But as I'm building out my universes and thinking about where people sit or where this particular media piece sits, for example, the Frolicking Truth, this is public, right? So anything that I'm talking about out here is public for somebody else to hear. There are also conversations that happen in the archive where now you're in the living room, where actually you're on the porch. Now, when you get into that inner circle, now you're in the living room. But even still, there are conversations that happen behind that only happen in the bedroom. Right? And so what information am I putting out in different places is something I'm always thinking about. Who has access to certain pieces and certain sides of me? Do you actually know my name? Or do you just know me by alias and you ain't even really came in? You just saw me out here in them streets. Or do you just know me as the girl who wore yellow glasses or had red hair? You know? The comment says, I learned that people have to earn their placement and that's okay. You know what's so interesting for me is I don't like to not trust people. Like I'm a very trusting person and I come like when you are in my circle, you are in my circle. And I am as free with my time and my energy like you get access. Also, everybody does not deserve that access. And it's something I had to learn. Everybody doesn't deserve that access because I had people in my bedroom, in my living room that actually should have been across the street. I had to repair that because I didn't see the signs because I'm thinking the best and I don't know what safe people are and I miss this sign and I miss that sign or not. Like I've had a lot of relationships where I realized that I was in relationship with those people because they were getting something from me, because the moment that I needed something from them, poof, be gone. When I tell you poof, be gone, bitch, like I ain't never existed in their life. And that's a wild thing to think that you have a deep relationship with somebody and to show up and like people calling your kid, they calling you auntie and all this kind of stuff. And then one day they just press delete. That shit's wild. That's wild. But it's something that I have experienced over time and realizing I don't like how you do that. And you're not going to be able to treat me that way. Or I'm going to choose myself. You know how many friends I lost because I chose myself and I chose to save my life by leaving the US? There were people who were angry with me, literally said to me, well, what about me? Bitch, what about you? I will die here. The fuck? I thought that was my sister. I thought, what? You would rather me be here and die than to support me in me saving my life? But let the truth be told, that should have never been somebody that was in my living room in the first place. But I didn't see the signs. So is one of the reasons why I ask people really particular questions, because we have to be able to determine if somebody is safe before we bring them in to the next level, right? So I'm being very, very upfront in letting you know the things that I'm saying publicly. I'm aware that I'm saying those things publicly, and I'm aware that the public has access to the things that I'm saying. So if you know that this is what I'm saying publicly, please know there's a lot that's not being said. And there's a lot that's deeper than that. And all of us should have that because people have to earn access. We are beautiful, sentient, purposed beings. And everybody don't deserve to have access to that. But when people see you, that's why I be big on seeing people. Because when people see you and you're able to see them, that's when you have deep relationships. And now you're able to really understand where someone's heart is at. Because that's what I need to know. Don't come up. Brittany said on the interview, she said, don't come up to me talking to me about no work accolades and all that kind of shit. I do not care. Who are you? And I am on that. Don't come talking to me about all that. I don't care about none of that. Who are you? What are the things that bring you joy? What are you currently working on right now? How are you choosing to be different? What's your current rabbit hole? If you can't have those conversations with me, you don't get to have access to me. I'm not about to talk. I don't be in community with people that small talk. That's what I want you to know. I'm not no small talking ass bitch, okay? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So if you own that, you're going to be across the street. I don't do small talk with people. I give you one question. You want to ask me about the weather? That's great. We'll talk about the weather. And then I'm going to say, what's your favorite color sky? I am deep. And because I am deep, I know that I'm not for everybody. And that's all right. And that's why I try to be as clear about where I stand on things, because the only people that I want to be in community with are people that actually want to be in community with me. I don't remember if I told y'all this. It might have been in the inner circle, but I had did my human design. And in human design, I'm a projector, and projectors wait for the invitation. And so I also had realized one of the boundaries, this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I go. One of the boundaries that I had needed to work on, because I'm also a dream awakener, right? And I'm a heart revealer. So in church language, that's an apostle and a prophet. I be seeing and I be knowing. Literally had a meeting with somebody yesterday, and he said, I said, why you called? Why you want to meet? And he said, well, I also know that you're intuitive. And so I was curious what you saw. And I said, interesting. Because a lot of times what I see are questions. I'm wondering what's underneath all of that is what I'm seeing and what I'm wondering, right? But anyway, because I know that I see and because I know that I birth things, I also have to make sure I'm not putting myself in a position where I'm dragging people because I want it more than them, because I see it more than them. Because if I do that, they're not going to be ready. They're not going to be ready, because our life experiences have us collecting different things along the way that we can use to get when we're in our purpose. So if I haven't had those experiences yet and I get here too soon, then I'm going to encounter danger and harm. So I also have to put a boundary on myself of, I'm not about to plan out somebody else's life. I'm not about to push in. I'm not about to be the one, hey, let's get time on the calendar. I'm not doing that, because you know where I am and you know who I am. So if you want access to that, then that means you show up. It says the teacher will show up when, what it says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Is that. Is that. I don't show up in people's lives, or our worlds don't intersect until you are ready to appear in the fullness of that phase, right? So for example, the ladies that we have in Found Her Future, they sought this out. Like literally was like, hey, I know who you are, and I know that I'm ready to be who I'm supposed to be. Can you help me get there? Hell yeah, let's go. That's always my answer. That's what I want you to know. That is always my answer. Yes, let's get you plugged in. Let's get you connected. Let's go. I'm not the holdup. I'm not the holdup. So I'm giving the invitations as freely as I'm able. I am making things as clear as I can possibly make it, because I know that some of you are asking yourselves these questions. So the invitation is here. If you give me an invitation, we getting it going. That's it. It's just as simple as that. There's a way for you to figure out how to finance it. There's a way for all of that. We can figure all of that out. I just need you to say, yes, I am ready. And yes, I would like to go on this journey. So the next cohort of Discover Your Destiny starts May 31st. Okay? There are people here in the comments talking about it. There are videos over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be sharing the people that have gone through Discover Your Destiny, pointing you to who they are, and really kind of bringing them into your awareness and understanding. What they used to say on, I think it was Reading Rainbow, he used to be like, but you don't have to believe it from me. And then they toss it over to somebody else for somebody else to say it. I'll let the people, speak for themselves, because I also feel like I've been doing a lot of talking and I need to stop. I need to stop. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop. I'm not. But I'm very intentional about what I'm choosing to talk about and what I'm not choosing to talk about, because I've said a whole lot of things Things are happening. People are seeing. I don't need to say nothing else. I said what I said, and it's on video. So I'm also preparing you all to understand that access will be changing. There's a lot that's going on behind the scenes in regards to me being in this country and in regards to the activism and advocacy work that I have done up until this point. There's a lot of organizing that I need to do behind the scenes. I have some really important meetings that are coming up within the next week to get some balls rolling. So I encourage you to pay very close attention to what is happening, especially if you have not stepped into the yard to come to the archive, because that's where the conversations are going to be taking place, is within the archive. So if you, again, go to patreon.com/minding my black ass business, that is how you can join the archive. That is your ticket into those conversations, into the family meetings, into the planning, into the organizing, into the building out of the universes. So please do come into the archive. It's $5 a month. And that $5 a month gives you access. It gives you access to be a part of the movement that we are building over here. So I will continue to have this space here as the outlet to me. And I also simultaneously will be backing out of some other spaces so that universes are able to launch and fly and do what they need to do. I'm an apostle. I get you up and running, and then I go to the next place. And so that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on these days, awakening these dreams. All right. So let me look for my closing thoughts and quotes and such. Here we go. So what I would like for you all to do today for your soul work is think about the 3 relationships or spaces in your life that are consistently draining you. For each one, I want you to ask, what am I agreeing to that I have not consciously chosen? What would change if I said I will not do this instead of I probably shouldn't? And then I want you to write out a boundary statement for each, right? So for example, let's say there's a particular person that I be on the phone with and we be on the phone all the time and it's very draining and I don't really like that. They really don't even ask me if they can dump all these things on me. They just call and start talking, right? So, okay, I have agreed to that. I have not consciously chosen that. What would change if I said I will not do this instead of I probably shouldn't? What will change is I'm not going to answer the phone for that person. Or I'm only going to answer the phone at certain times when I actually have capacity for wherever they might go. Other than that, I'm going to choose to not answer the phone. So the boundary statement is, when so-and-so calls, if I don't have capacity, I'm not answering the phone. While I'm on the phone with so-and-so and my capacity diminishes, I'm going to end the phone call. Then you might need to write out a script and say, like, this is what I'm going to say. Okay, girl, my brain has reached its capacity. I'm going to go now. Hangs up phone. Right? So it's a practice too. I want you to know it's something that we have to practice in executing our boundaries. But that is your homework. All right. So I want you to think about an area, person, place, thing, what have you, that has been draining you. Asking yourself, what have I agreed to that I haven't consciously chosen? What would happen if I said I will not do this? I will not do this. What action comes along with that? And then write out your boundary statement. All right. So that is our soul work for the week. All right. Let me where's my closing music, y'all? Hold on. One of these days, I'm going to be a production of not just myself. Praise God. One of these days, there's going to be a production team, and I will just be able to sit here and do the talking, and I won't have to also do the producing. Okay. But anyway, I'm getting it, y'all. I'm getting it together. So yeah, thank y'all for listening to me yap and all the things. I definitely said some amazing things in here. So I hope that you took notes from the very beginning when we're talking about brain research and all of that. Please share this with someone. Please like the video. Please leave a comment, even if that comment is just sunflowers, okay? But please do. I'm going to put some links into the description of the things that I referenced. So give me some time to do that. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers as I navigate on low power mode and I have these meetings coming up. Again, if you would like to be in deeper community with me, please come into patreon.com/mindingmyblack-ass-business. That is where the archive lives. $5 a month gets you into the yard for the conversations. All right. So I think for my closing thought, where is it? It's from Nedra Glover Tawwab. She has a book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. It's also a really good book if you are looking for support with talking about boundaries. But it says boundaries are a way of advocating for yourself. Boundaries are a way to maintain the health and integrity of a relationship. Boundaries are a way of saying, I love myself. I invite you back into community with yourself, loving yourself in the ways that you deserve, in the ways that are going to allow you to be able to honor your energy, honor your brain people, honor the core of who you actually are. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all. I'll see y'all tomorrow for So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese right here at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. And I'll see y'all on Wednesday in the archive for Just Ask Kim. I'll see you on Thursday at Co-working over on TikTok. And I'll see y'all back here next week for the next episode of The Frolicking Truth. Bye, y'all. Thank you for listening to The Frolicking Truth, where joy meets justice and our nervous systems get free. Please be sure to like, rate, and comment. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Minding My Black Ass Business, and follow me on all social platforms. Until next time.